I gotta read The Gingerbread Man by Jim Haworth and illustrated by Barbara McCock. Once upon a time, there was a little old man and a little old woman. One day, the little old woman said, "Let's make a gingerbread man." "Yes, let's do it. Let's do," said the little old man, and they did. So they mixed up the batter and they rolled out the dough. And they shaped like the little arms, and they shaped the little legs, and they shaped the little head. And when raisins, they made the little eyes and the little nose, and the little mouth, and the sugar glaze. They dressed him in a fancy suit of clothes. When all was set, they put the gingerbread man into the oven, and they waited. Pretty soon, a delicious smell coming from the oven told them that the gingerbread man was ready, and so were they. But when they opened the oven door, out popped the gingerbread man, and he ran across the floor. The little old man and the little old woman could hardly believe their eyes. The gingerbread man looked up at them, pulled his little hands on his hips, and said, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can catch me on the gingerbread man." The little old man reached down to grab him, but quick as a wink, the gingerbread man ran out the door and down the road. And the little old man and the little old woman went after him. Come back," they yelled. But the gingerbread man just looked over his shoulder and said, "No, no, I won't come back, and indeed rather run the bear's neck." And he kept on running. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And after a time, he met a butcher sitting in front of his shop. The gingerbread man looked up at him, put his little hands on the hips, and said, "Run, run, as fast as you can. You can catch me on the gingerbread man. I run from a husband, I run from a wife, and I run from you too. I can." The butcher reached down to grab him, but quick as a wink, the gingerbread man ran on down the road, and the butcher ran after him. "Come back," yelled the butcher, and not far behind, the little old man and the little old woman we're going to do? Come back, come back. But the gingerbread man just looked over his shoulder and said, no, no, I won't come back. I'd indeed rather run than be your snack. And he kept on running. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And after a time, he met a black and white cow. The gingerbread man. And after a time, he met a black and white cow. The gingerbread man looked up at her, put his little hands on his hips, and said, run, 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 faster you can catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I've run from a husband. I've run from a wife. I've run from a butcher with a carving knife. And I run from you too. I can. The black and white cow reached out to grab him, but quick as a wink, the gingerbread man ran on down the road. And the black and white cow ran after him. Come back, yelled the black and white cow. And not far behind the little old man and the little old woman. And the butcher with a knife were yelling too. Come back, come back, come back. But the gingerbread man just looked over his shoulder and said, no, no, I won't come back. I'd rather run than be your snack. And he kept on running and ran and he ran and he ran. And after a time, he met a muddy old soul. The gingerbread man looked up at her, put his little hands on his hips, and said, run, run, faster you can catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I've run from a husband, I've run from a wife, I've run from a doctor with a carving knife, I've run from a cow, all black and white, and I'll run from you too. I can. The muddy old soul reached out to grab him, but quick as a wink, the gingerbread man went on down the road, and the muddy old soul went after him. Come back, yelled the muddy old soul, and not far behind. The little old man and the little old woman and the butcher with a knife and the black and white cow were yelling too. Come back, come back, come back, come back. But the gingerbread man just looked over his shoulder and said, no, no, I won't come back. Indeed, rather ran than be your snack. And I kept on running. And he ran, and he ran, and he ran, and he ran. And after a time, he met a fox. The gingerbread man looked at him and put his little hands on his hips and said, Run, run, hustle, you can catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. I run from a husband. I run from a wife. I run from a bastard with a carving knife. I, I run from a cow and a money also. And I'll run from you too. I can. What do you say? Asked the fox. The shrieky fox pretended he couldn't hear well. I'm not as young as I used to be. He said, you'll have to come closer and speak louder. The gingerbread stepped closer and and in a very loud voice, he said, run, run, close as you can catch me, other gingerbread man. I run from a husband, I run from a wife, I run from a badger with a carving knife. I run from a cow and money also, and I'll run from you. I can. Just then, the little old man and the little old woman and the bachelor with a knife and the black and white cow, and the muddy old soul came running around and turned in the road, and they were yelling, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. The gingerbread man looked over his shoulder, but before he could say a single word, the fox jumped up and grabbed him, and quick as a wink before he could think, with a snap and a snick, and a laugh and a lick, the gingerbread man was gone. The little old man and the little old woman, and the badger with a knife, and the black and white cow, and the muddy old soul, all stood and stared sadly at the fox. He hadn't left a single crumb for anyone. Riddle, fan. So ends the tale of the gingerbread man. Hey, that's the end of the story.